Every empire has a story. Every strategy has a secret. Welcome to Business Decoded. Smash that like button and let's get into it. In 2013, Google did something. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars building a pair of glasses. These glasses could take photos, record video, give directions, and send emails. Put them on, and you felt like you'd stepped into a science fiction movie. At the launch event, everyone said, "This is the future." Then reality showed up. Walk into a restaurant wearing those glasses, and the staff would ask you to leave. Walk into a bar, and the bouncer would stop you at the door. Walk down the street, and strangers would confront you to your face, "Are you recording me?" A new word was born, Glasshole. Literal meaning, an asshole wearing glass. Google Glass launched, then pulled from shelves 2 years later. Nearly $900 million lost. From that point on, a camera on your face became the forbidden zone that the entire tech industry refused to touch for a decade. Then, in 2025, something happened. The tech company with the worst reputation on the planet did the exact same thing. Same camera on your face. Same photos and video. They sold 7 million pairs. And the numbers are still climbing. That company is called Meta. So what happened in between? The most dangerous position you can be in isn't having a competitor actively coming after you. It's standing still while the entire foundation beneath your industry quietly gets replaced. To understand why Meta decided to make glasses, you first need to understand the corner Meta had painted itself into. In 2022, 3 things hit Meta at the same time. First, the stock price collapsed more than 60%, wiping out over $600 billion in market cap, the single largest market value loss in a calendar year in US tech history. Second, Zuckerberg announced an all-in bet on the Metaverse, staking the entire company's future on virtual reality. The Reality Labs division was burning through $10 to $19 billion every year. Third, people around the world had genuinely started to hate Meta. The Cambridge Analytica scandal. Mass user data breaches. Congressional hearings where senators grilled Zuckerberg on live television. In the minds of ordinary people, Meta had long since stopped being the platform that connects the world. It was now the company that steals your data and sells it to advertisers. But of those 3 disasters, the truly fatal one was the second. The Metaverse. After burning through $8 billion, how many users did it actually attract? In 2022, the Wall Street Journal revealed that Horizon Worlds, Meta's flagship virtual reality platform, had only 200,000 monthly active users. Not 20 million. Not 2 million. 200,000. To put that in perspective, if you imagine the global internet population as a city of 1 billion people, Meta's Metaverse was the equivalent of a small public square that almost nobody visited, kept open for appearances, but essentially empty inside. By 2025, Meta had quietly abandoned the Metaverse entirely. Total losses, close to $80 billion. Wall Street's verdict: Zuckerberg built a ghost town with shareholders' money, in a world nobody wanted to visit. That's the first dead end. Meta dug its own hole and nearly buried itself in it. But the bigger crisis was coming from outside. Have you ever thought about what AI is actually fed to make it intelligent? The simplest explanation: AI is like a student. It needs massive amounts of material to get smart. The first generation of AI was fed text and images from the internet, news articles, books, Wikipedia, social media posts. Decades of accumulated text data from the global internet served as AI's textbooks. But here's the problem. Research firm Epic AI estimated that by around 2026, the supply of high-quality text data on the internet would essentially be exhausted. AI would have read all of it. What does that mean? It means the next generation of AI needs a new source of data. And the next most important source is visual data from the real, physical world. Not text. Not images. But what human eyes actually see in the real world. You walk into a coffee shop. Your eyes scan the menu, read the crowd, find an open seat. That kind of real-time understanding of the physical world is exactly the training material the next generation of AI needs most. Whoever owns the data owns the core fuel for the next generation of AI. Now look at what the major players already have. Google has Street View, 20 years, 110 countries, 280 billion real-world images, and that data is already being used to train Gemini directly. Tesla has its fleet, millions of Teslas on the road worldwide, each one a rolling camera collecting visual data from real roads 24/7, feeding directly into autonomous driving AI. Apple chose a different path, synthetic data, meaning AI-generated fake data used to train itself. The cost? Siri is still the punchline of the tech world, trailing Google and Meta by an entire generation in AI capability. And Meta? What does Meta have? It has social data from 3 billion users, likes, comments, shares, behavioral records. But that's all numbers on screens. It's not visual data from the real world. In this war for physical world AI data, Meta was showing up almost empty-handed. That's the second dead end. The data war had already started, and Meta had no weapons. Sometimes the right answer has been sitting right there in plain sight. The problem is, the last person who tried it died badly enough to scare everyone else off. How do you collect visual data from the real world, from the human perspective, at massive scale? The answer is simple: put a camera on someone's face. But someone had already tried that answer. 2013, Google Glass. The technology was right. The timing was wrong. Google Glass didn't fail because the camera wasn't good enough or the software wasn't capable enough. It failed because it made everyone around the wearer feel like they were being surveilled. The person wearing Google Glass wasn't the victim, they were the threat. Because nobody nearby knew when they were being recorded or when they were being photographed. So society collectively rejected the product. Banned in restaurants. Banned in bars. Banned in gyms. Banned in movie theaters. Wearers were called glassholes. That failure left a deep psychological scar across the industry. A camera on your face is off limits. Meta knew this history perfectly well. And Meta did it anyway. Zuckerberg's read on the situation: Google Glass didn't fail because the product direction was wrong. It failed because the product design was wrong. Wrong in one specific way: it made it immediately obvious to everyone that this thing was a camera. So what if nobody could tell? Real strategic intelligence is never about forcing your way through the front door. It's about putting on a face nobody's suspicious of and walking right in. In 2023, Meta made 3 decisions. Each one, taken individually, looks fairly unremarkable. Together, they cracked a puzzle nobody had solved in 10 years. Decision 1: don't use the Meta brand. Use the Ray-Ban brand. What is Ray-Ban? It's the Italian brand that's been making aviator sunglasses since 1937. Cool. Fashion forward. No trace of any tech company. Meta approached EssilorLuxottica, Ray-Ban's parent company, with a proposal: you bring the design and the brand, we bring the technology and the AI, and we build glasses together. The result: a pair of glasses that, from the outside, shows absolutely no sign of having a camera. It looks exactly like a regular pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. Walk into a coffee shop wearing them, and nobody is going to challenge you because all they see is a nice-looking pair of shades. The Glasshole problem, eliminated at the source. Decision 2: no display screen. No AR. Just glasses that look like normal glasses. A lot of people interpreted this as a compromise: the technology wasn't ready, so the features were cut. But this was actually the sharpest strategic call of all 3. Google Glass failed partly for a visual reason: the display screen jutting up from the top right corner of the lens was visible from across the street. The form factor itself was broadcasting a message to everyone nearby: this person is recording you. Meta's choice: cut the display entirely. Nail the appearance first. No display screen means it looks like ordinary eyewear. The wearer walks out the door, and nobody knows. Social friction, 0. This is the strategic retreat that sets up the advance. Decision 3: price it at $299, not $1,500. Google Glass launched at $1,500, sold to a small, invite-only group of developers and early adopters. $1,500 signals: this is a toy for tech enthusiasts, not something for normal people. Meta pushed the price down to $299. $299 signals, this is a fashion accessory, not a piece of electronics. That's roughly what you'd spend on a decent pair of sunglasses. So the people buying them weren't buying them to experience AI. They were buying them because they looked good. This was a stroke of genius. Because when users buy something for how it looks, they don't experience themselves as using a tech product. They're just wearing glasses out the door. And wearing glasses out the door is the most natural thing in the world. The three decisions all point to the same core move. Use Ray-Ban's identity to lower the psychological barrier for buyers. Use the appearance of normal eyewear to eliminate social resistance. Use a $299 price point to turn it into something anyone can pick up on a whim. Take a surveillance device. Package it as a fashion accessory. Get consumers to spend their own money, wear it voluntarily, and feel like they're doing something cool. You think you bought a pair of glasses. But the company behind those glasses bought something else entirely. Now we get to the part that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. On the surface, Meta Ray-Ban glasses are a consumer electronics product. But their real strategic value is data collection. Every pair is a first-person perspective mobile camera. Users wear them to work, to run errands, to grab coffee, to meet friends. The glasses capture all the visual and audio information triggered by the user, and upload it to Meta's servers through the Meta AI app. That data goes directly into training Meta's next-generation AI. This isn't speculation. Meta has acknowledged it. In 2025, Meta quietly updated its privacy policy, expanding photos, videos, and audio recorded through the glasses into the default data source for AI training. No prominent notification. No secondary confirmation prompt. In 2026, Meta went further. The opt-out option for voice-activated audio data was removed entirely. If you trigger Meta AI through the glasses, the recording uploads automatically. There is no way to turn it off. Even more unsettling, before that footage is used for AI training, it goes through human annotation. Meaning real human contractors are watching the video your glasses recorded. The moment your glasses swept across the room at dinner. The ambient environment captured while you were talking with a friend. The clip you recorded at the gym. Someone is watching it. Futurism used a specific phrase in their reporting: Meta is turning smart glasses into a mass surveillance tool. But here's the brilliant commercial paradox. Users aren't protesting. They're lining up to buy. Because they bought Ray-Ban, not Meta. They're wearing a good-looking pair of sunglasses, not a surveillance device. This is what those three product decisions actually unlocked. How do you get users to voluntarily spend their own money, willingly put on a data collection device, and feel like it's the coolest thing they own? Answer: make it beautiful enough, cheap enough, and normal enough. Now look back at the data war with fresh eyes. Google collects real-world visual data through its Street View cars, requiring a vehicle fleet, drivers, decades of time, coverage across 110 countries. What does Meta use? 7 million ordinary people who voluntarily walk around with a camera on their face. The cost is 100 times lower than a Street View fleet. The coverage is 100 times broader. And the data is first-person human perspective, not road footage captured from a passing car. This is a textbook case of doing more with less. Meta doesn't have Google's Street View fleet. It doesn't have Tesla's autonomous vehicle fleet. It doesn't even have Apple's deep chip expertise. But it found a data collection method none of its competitors can replicate. Get users to become the data collection nodes themselves, and make them feel great about it. When someone starts winning, everyone else suddenly realizes how much the territory was worth. Meta's success woke up an industry that had been asleep for 10 years. May 2026. Google I/O Developer Conference. Google announced, "We're making AI glasses." Hardware co-developed with Samsung. Fashion design provided by Warby Parker and Gentle Monster. Powered by Gemini AI. The most telling detail: Google's AI glasses support the iPhone. This is a counterintuitive move. Google products have always been Android first. Now they're actively building compatibility for Apple users, and there's only one explanation: the market is too important to lose over ecosystem walls. What does Google's entry mean? It means even Google is conceding that Meta chose the right battlefield. And Apple? Based on its current roadmap, the earliest it can ship its own AI glasses is 2027. That's 4 full years after Meta sold its first pair of Ray-Bans. In consumer hardware, 4 years is enough time for a brand to reach full maturity. Meta is also doing one more thing: doubling production capacity. In 2025, Meta and EssilorLuxottica's manufacturing partnership was producing 10 million pairs per year. The 2026 target is 20 to 30 million pairs. This is no longer about selling a fashion product. This is about building infrastructure. 30 million pairs of glasses means 30 million first-person perspective data collection nodes, distributed across every city, every street, every coffee shop and gym on the planet. Let's return to where we started. Google Glass. The best technology available. Dead. Meta Ray-Ban. Built by the most distrusted company on Earth. Alive and thriving. The gap between them wasn't technology. It wasn't funding. It wasn't luck. It was one strategic insight. People don't object to cameras. They object to knowing they're being recorded. Make the camera invisible enough, fashionable enough, and affordable enough, and people won't just tolerate it. They'll buy it themselves. This is the lesson Meta extracted from the $80 billion Metaverse disaster. And it's the strategic proof of concept those Ray-Bans represent. But this story isn't over. Meta is currently testing a feature called Name Tag. The concept is simple: you wear the glasses, glance at a stranger on the street, and the AI identifies their name in real time, along with their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Where does that database come from? From 3 billion users, across 2 decades, voluntarily uploading every photo they ever posted to Facebook and Instagram. This feature hasn't officially launched yet. But it exists. The technology is ready. The only question left now is: when you put on that $299 pair of fashionable sunglasses and walk out the door, do you know what else you're doing at the same time? That question, I'll leave for you to answer.